We're here with Manny, with Alex, with Stocks. We're back. I mean, I know it's been a while, fellas, but we're coming back full force, as strong as we can come, and we're gonna turn it over to the draft. Manny, before the show, he offered a good question. He said, "Who had the best draft out of all of us this year?" That's a very interesting question.
Well, first of all, we'd like to welcome everybody back.
Yep.
We've been off a little while because of the holiday and stuff, but we have plenty of content now. We're gonna make this really good for you guys, and hope you enjoy it. And we got a full house tonight.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the best draft, Manny, what qualifies the best draft to you? Is it the sleeper picks, the late picks that people get? And
No, I think that we have to think about the team need and how they address that needs. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, for me, I will start. I don't know if you were talking about this or another thing. I want to broke the feeling that you have created. What you are thinking about?
We just started the show now, man. We're brand new. We haven't talked about anything.
Okay. So if you agree with me, we can start from the draft. Then goes with the first game day to start to see the team how they roll in the starting of the season 2. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. For me, the best draft is one of the best draft team is Redskins. I don't know the power of the new owner, but I feel that he make the first 2 draft pick and they address their best needs. Quarterback and inside middle linebacker. You know the Redskins have no quarterback and have London Fletcher that is getting older.
Yeah.
And they pick 2 studs at the position. They pick a newcomer. He can do everything. He can run. He can throw deep ball, short ball, middle ball, great accuracy. Also in the throwing the run. And another pick is the middle linebacker that is an import and can go around 90 in 2 seasons. We have to think that we have only it's long. It's a long road. We have 4 seasons in front of us, 3 maybe 4 seasons, another to play. So this is an important thing for me. But one of the best draft was the Redskins, number one.
Yep.
What do you think about the number 1 draft?
I haven't really got a chance to really break it down. As you know, I was on vacation, but looking at the first games played and the way people were using their draft picks, I was really impressed with the Dolphins draft, just because he really got someone in the secondary, in that free safety, I believe, who really can be a game changer.
Well, my 2 things about the draft is you have to look at a team that had a lot of needs coming into this year.
Yep.
And they fill them, and they work well with that team.
Yep.
And I think we definitely need to have Alex, really talk about this because he's the guru. So I think it comes down to all in Alex's.
Oh, guys, Alex, you are the guru about draft.
Well, at this stage, it's after 2 weeks being played. It's very tough to tell who basically had the better draft. I feel I had a very good draft, getting very good value on my picks.
Yep.
That's another thing you got to take into account. Maybe not necessarily filling a need, but taking like the best available player and taking an absolute stud in a position that you, for example, you may not think they'd fall to, but they take them and things like that. Lots of teams had good drafts. I think every team filled their needs. Lots of wide receivers were taken, showing that it was a very deep draft of wide receiver. The Vikings seem to like their wide receiver a lot. He seems to be their number 1 target at the moment.
Same with the Cowboys, I might add that too as well.
it was maybe a bit unexpected. Well, not necessarily unexpected, but it's not an obvious pick for the Steelers to take.
Steelers.
Basically, the top running back that high in the draft.
With the 6th pick.
Yeah. Maybe wouldn't.
And you, Alex, with Rucker. It's incredible that guy had fall to 11. And it's incredible. He's a really. We talk about the Dolphins as a game changer with the free safety justice, but it's much more incredible that outside linebacker that is a defensive end in the front four fall down to the 11th spot. That it is exactly what you need. It's not only a matter of players. It's a matter of what you need.
Well, I will say, you're right, Manny. Talent did slide in the draft. I think we're talking about best drafts and things. I think the biggest surprise is the Panthers taking a fullback that early in the draft.
Yeah, I agree. And surprised me that number 2 pick, the Texans, Houston, that pick the best cornerback available. They have
trading away Brandon Flowers, and as there's only one real standout stud cornerback, and there's lots of depth at other positions, I think it was a good move, especially with what he got for Flowers. Yes, Flowers is a good cornerback, but I'm not sure it's quite worth, especially with the fact that cornerback's there when he's a bit younger, and that's what you kind of need to. I think you need to build around the temp. Well, I like to build around the draft, but I think a few people agree with me that he got a steal with that trade and he used it well.
Yeah.
He got a multi-quarterback, so.
Well,
go, Logan.
I was just going to bring Stocks back in here and say, what was your philosophy? I know you're very high on need. Do you take need over talent, or is it talent over need for you?
Well, in that case, it's pretty much where you're slotted. I was slotted at 23. My need was a right tackle, so I kept an eye on the right tackles.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, they fell to me, and I ended up with the number 1. If he wasn't there, then I would go with probably best available player. So it's basically more where you were slotted. If you're slotted in the beginning of the draft, you're probably going to take the best available player because, he's a really high-rated, skill-wise, he's got, good attributes, everything. So you're most likely probably going to go with the best available player. Vice versa, if you're at the end of the draft, you may just want to fill your need.
True. That I asked that because I reached for a corner, but I'm very happy with it. I needed a corner, so I got a corner with my first pick. I could have went with more talent route, but I went for more need. So that's always an interesting question for me. What do you, Alex? So you think the Texans made the right move by picking the corner? I personally think he picked him to look for a trade, like the Texans often do. He's always looking for a trade. I feel he moved up hoping he could get the corner and trade him off to somebody like me who needed a corner. Unfortunately for him, the draft was just so deep in corner. There wasn't much need after this draft, in my opinion.
I think it's very possible. It's hard to tell as we're not actually the people. We don't know what their actual mentality was.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. I personally, for example, when it came to my pick, one of my needs is cornerback, and I thought it was probably the best 2 cornerbacks being taken off the board. I thought it was probably a bit of a stretch for me to try and take another one. So, and I thought, defensive line was a kind of another need with it on the ends being very old, so I brought in some youth there. I was tempted to go for the left tackle the left defensive end, because higher injury. Well, he's less likely to get injured, and he's a good player as well. But I decided to take a bit more of a risk, especially the fact that he dropped that far with his stats, and he's been a beast so far. His stats might not necessarily reflect it so far, as he's had 1 sack so far, and a forced fumble, but he's had a lot of hurry-ups, and he's hit the quarterback a lot of times. So
don't forget that the Houston received a lot of of players and picks for Brandon Flowers. I think that is really the first worst trade in gridiron gamers, and then Clay Matthews and Philly, and I'm a foolish to have did it. But the Flowers trade is by far worse than mine, because he gave his first round, second overall, Claiborne, and if I remember correct, other 2 picks to the Texans to get Brandon Flowers. You can get that cornerback, a better cornerback maybe in the future with the second overall pick if you really need a cornerback, and have Claiborne if you don't trade for Brandon Flowers. So why the Bucks have that trade?
I don't know. Maybe he's related to Brandon Flowers. I don't know. I really don't. Manny, this is a good question for you because you took a chance. I know you took a chance on some injury-prone guys, specifically the running back. What's your philosophy when it comes to injury-prone draft picks?
And I try to pick a high risk, high reward as a funding. And I know that this is injury prone, but look at the stats on the second game. Again, it's the Bucks. He made an incredible TD, 55 yards run, and he completely changed the game. So I know that he can go down. He is injury prone, but he's only a backup for now. And I have James Sachs that is an insurance. So I prefer to risk this way because I saw my team completed with the trades. I traded for Orekpo and Curry to have pass rush, and I traded Asante Samuel that not played really well for me for a younger cornerback like Reze Doling. And so I have only that need, only the running back need, and instead of pick that 19-1 speed Dyers that come from Eagles, I try to get a better running back, high risk, high reward.
Well, I will say, playing in week 1, he did look very impressive. The trouble is keeping him on the field, but definitely if you keep him on the field, you definitely have a steal. Let's bring Stocks back in, and what's your philosophy about trading young players, even if you can win now? Are you more of a guy who's gonna take his draft picks, even if you're say an Eagles or a Giants team? Obviously, they have a Super Bowl team there. But they also have to draft, even though the drafts are late.
Well, yeah, in my case, I ended up giving a couple draft picks of this year for Brian Cushion and Mike Williams. I'll take a second round draft pick for Brian Cushion any day.
Yep.
Mike Williams is a solid wide receiver. So, yeah, if you can fill that void, I'm going to do it. And yeah, going young is one thing, but how many seasons are we going to play? I know you're looking for a stud, but are you going to find that stud in the second round? I think it's a lot tougher in the second round versus the first. So I treat my first a little bit more, a lot more actually than my second. So that would be my theory. See what Alex would say.
Well, I value my draft picks fairly highly. As you can tell, I got some pretty decent players from when I picked, probably partly because of my positioning, and partly because high second round pick is worth a lot. It's not quite a first round pick, obviously, but even then, you're going to get a quality player who's going to start for you or going to be productive for you at least. Once you get beyond then, late second round, you can still get some decent players who may not be. Begin with, that's why the first draft picks were valued so much higher, because you get the progression when you don't necessarily in the late draft. So basically, the value of draft picks other than the first round is going to decrease as each year goes on. So I think that's the real key to it.
Now, Alex, I was going to ask you, being the draft guy that you are, you know as well as I do that the Dolphins needed a lot of things. They needed some defensive help. They also, we thought they needed corner. I looked at your mock drafts. I think you had the Redskins and the Dolphins taking a quarterback. So, what's your philosophy about him skipping the quarterback and taking, I mean, undoubtedly, maybe, excuse me if I'm wrong here, but maybe a young Troy Polamalu, based on what he's done so far, it'd be hard to argue he's not a young Troy Polamalu. But would you have done it, or would you have took the quarterback?
Well, every coach has their own philosophy to a team. I like to build a team around a defense, but I mean, as everyone knows, well, I've seen Gavin's been kind of inconsistent for me at times, but he's progressed nicely. I'm sure the Dolphins are they're not necessarily happy with their quarterback situation, but they feel they're in a situation where they can rely on the running game and, kind of cope without having that stud quarterback. And I'm sure a lot of teams could feel comfortable in that situation as well. So I think he felt that he was getting better value for the free safety.
And defense. So it's every year, every season, I see the level growing up, and the play at the Super Bowl of this year reflect this. Take a look at this. Raiders owner is a really, really great player. We have in the Super Bowl the perfect team, the Giants, that goes 60-0. The Eagles, we all know that is a really great owner. So I see a better level, and this season I expect a really closer match and an excited run for the playoffs. I want to introduce the talk about this season because I think that is really interesting. We have some division that are really, really, really difficult to predict. AFC North, NFC North, AFC West, NFC South. They are really, 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 really competitive.
I had you on for the playoffs last year. I don't know if you remember, Manny. It was quite a while ago. But we were talking about how no one was giving the Giants any credit. You know, he was doing all these great things, went undefeated for the season. But, we were like, well, there's something about him. We just can't. We didn't know what it was. There was nothing really we could point at. We just didn't like him. And he made it all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I have to say that me and Stokes were right when we said that the Giants are really good, but not worth or a Super Bowl champs. If you remember, Mike, we say that he is a really, really, really good player, no question about it. But he lacks something to win a Super Bowl, because especially a defense, he plays always the same schemes. So if you can read that schemes, you can stop it and you can beat him. And I think this is what happened on the last Super Bowl.
You heard it from the boss. Thanks for joining us, Manny. We'll be right back after this. A lot of draft coverage. That was some Super Bowl stuff. We'll be right back after this. Me and Stocks and Alex come back right after this. We got lots to come, boys. Stick with us. Stick and stay. Be good.